All right, let's go out to Chicago and talk to CJ. Hey, CJ, what's up, man?
Dr. John, good to hear from you, bro. Oh my gosh.
What's
How you
up?
doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm John, I'm talking to you, bro. Let's go. Come on now.
What's up? How can I help, man?
All right. So let me walk you through it. So let's talk. So this question is going to be a sexual question in nature, just so you know, just so you're aware. So in November
Hold on. Have you listened to the show ever before?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think like half of them are. So it's all good, man. You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Yeah. I just wanted to, prime you, so you're not caught off guard or anything.
All right, bring it.
Who can catch you off guard? Okay, so
yeah, that's a tough thing to get. Yes, go for it. Go for
absolutely,
it.
Absolutely. Okay, so November of 2022, my wife and I got married. We were Christians and virgins when we got married, and that was great. But then what happened was we quickly found out once we were married that she suffers from a condition known as vaginismus.
Yeah, of course, sure.
And do you need me to kind of walk through what that is?
No, I know. Yeah, I'll say it's common, but it's. I'm trying to think. The last I looked, it's like 7 to 10% ish or so. It's a sexual pain disorder, right?
Yeah.
Where there's involuntary vaginal muscle spasms that make penetration impossible or very, very difficult, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
It also has a really, really high, again, this is the last I've looked, and I'm not an expert in this, but it's a really high treatment success rate. Off the charts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So y'all waited for like this one moment. The music plays, and then my wife's in pain. My wife's in pain.
Yeah, exactly. So actually, we didn't get a chance to do any kind of penetrative sex or anything like that.
Okay.
In kind of at the beginning, and actually, it took us kind of a few months to figure out what this condition actually is. But the result of that is we have not actually been able to have sexual intercourse the entirety of our marriage, John. So
has she been seeking treatment?
Yes, so she's been doing a great job. Once we figured out that's kind of what it was, or once we had the suspicion, she started going to the doctor, and she got officially diagnosed with that. And then she works with both a counselor, like sort of a sexual psychologist, and also a physical therapist, and also like a gynecologist that she works with. So she has kind of the gauntlet of doctors that she's working with, which is great.
Okay, but you're working on more than a year plus,
right?
Is there something a layer deeper here?
Well, basically, John, my question for you that kind of leads us to now is that how can I be the best husband that I can be right now in this season while she's working through everything? Because, obviously I have my own sort of wants and desires, which are, I think perfectly natural and everything. I want to have, a full sexual relationship with my wife, but that's just not possible right now. And so, my question is, how can I learn to be a good husband, to support and encourage her in this season while also managing my own expectations in this time?
Yeah, I mean, you're using really elevated, almost distant language as a way, and here's what it sounds like. It feels like, A, you're trying to protect yourself. A, you never, ever, 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 ever want to talk bad about your wife, which I think is noble and good. And you're trying to very carefully, in a very careful culture, say, like, I'm dying over here, man. I waited my whole life to have sex with one person, and I can't do it, and I'm going crazy. And I want you to know all three of those things are okay. All three of those, there's nothing wrong with you, dude. The only thing I would say is I think you're doing a pretty, well, I would call a heroic effort, but I don't mean you're being a hero. I'm saying what you're doing is you're doing something very difficult, which is trying to keep all of this disappointment and frustration at arm's length. Okay. And in a weird way, your body's going to start taking over because it's going to assume you're not getting the message at how big of a deal this is. And you'll start feeling anxious. You'll start feeling unable to sleep. You'll start getting short and snappy. And it will start this weird dance between you and your wife. So let's put am I onto something right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I don't think it was harder in the beginning when we didn't know what it was, right?
Sure.
And when she wasn't seeking treatment.
Hey, let's be honest. It doesn't happen night 1. Doesn't happen night 2. Doesn't happen on your whole honeymoon.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you go to the bathroom and look in the mirror and go, "Oh no!" Right?
Yeah.
You're not
yeah.
crazy, and you're not a bad guy for that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's a scary.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
What just happened? And imagine her. She's terrified too, right?
Oh, sure. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
It's both. Here's the challenge: are y'all sharing the grief here? Because here's the hard part about this. If any conversation you have, any frustration, any how are things going, turn into you being treated like you're accusing her. Let me put it this way. If she is feeling shame, guilt, fine. Because of course she wants to be a wife that has a wild, fun sexual relationship with her husband. Fair. If it turns into shame and then she blames you for it. And you have to be quiet. You're learning in year 1 of your marriage. I need to keep my feelings to myself and shove them down as far as they'll go. Then your marriage is going to crash.
Yeah.
If she says, "Hey, I can't, like my for whatever reason, my body is terrified of having something from the outside come inside." Right? And it shuts the whole thing down. Is she able to go to the OBGYN?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly if it was an OBGYN. I think it was
the gynecologist?
It was more like a gynecologist type thing. Yeah.
That's what that is. Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean,
shows what I know. Shows what I know.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Is she able to go through a full exam?
No, she hasn't been able to.
Okay.
Yet.
All right. Has she walked through? Is there any kind of conversation about where this may have stemmed from?
In terms of like in her past, no. There's no like abuse history in her past or anything like that.
Is there some really heavy religiosity?
That could be the case. I mean, we both grew up, as Christians and, really valuing sex. But I think what the pivot is, I think in a lot of Christian culture is sex goes from like a thing that's pretty much bad to something that's great and awesome as soon as you get married.
Right.
And I think that's just a really hard like pivot to make, basically like literally overnight.
Right. Well, and if it becomes your identity, I'm who I am because there's a thing I don't do.
Right.
Versus I am who I am because let me say it this way. Like I am strong because I do squats. Right? And then one day you blow your knee out.
Every man ever.
What right. One day you blow your knee out, you can't do squats anymore. You begin to ask yourself, "Oh crap, who am I?" But if you say I'm strong because I go to the gym every day and I take care of I'm a good steward of my body. Then you blow your knee out and you're like, "Oh, that sucks. It's the worst." And you go through a dip and you go through like a low run and then you go back to the gym and you do other things. If your identity is, I don't have sex before marriage, period.
Yeah.
And then you do. It destroys who you are versus my identity is I'm a good steward of my body and I want to stay safe. And because of the way, like, I want to keep my marriage with a particular level of holiness and I get to choose that, dude, now we're on to something. See what I'm saying? And there's some identity. Like, but here's the deal. She's working with the right people and is having the conversations with the professionals and working with the professionals. And so what I would tell you is, brother, like the data, and again, it's been so long and I'm not an expert on this, but the data tells me this is a super, super treatable thing. Okay? So I don't want you just to be like, "Oh, this is forever." My next question for you is, what is sex and intimacy besides penetration? What's it like? Is it rambunctious and fun and exciting, or is the whole thing a terror shutdown?
Well, we do pretty well, John. we try to be creative, and do stuff other than that, obviously, because sex is way more than just that act in and of itself.
Yep.
But I think sometimes what I struggle with, maybe I'm wrong. Like I'd love for you to tell me, but there are times for me where it just feels kind of incomplete, right? There are times where I'm like, okay, there's supposed to be something kind of more here.
You're not crazy.
And so I think, that's a part that I kind of struggle with, I think, at times.
Yes. I think that struggle is okay, and the struggle is real, and that struggle, here's where the struggle becomes not okay. When you shut it down and you lock it down, and y'all are not able to talk about that struggle together.
Okay.
And so the challenge is, let me say it this way, and y'all been married a little over a year, so let me just plant the seed in your marriage now. Secrets will destroy your marriage. It'll kill you.
Okay.
And that means that we have to learn to hear hard things. Here's a good example.
Such as?
My wife has a book coming out. So her life has been chaotic, planning the book release party. She's doing it independent, not like me. I had a whole team. She's a team of one. Things have gotten chaotic, right? And we've got school. My son's going to go to high school next year. He's got the school play coming up. My daughter's got X, Y, and Z. I'm traveling all over the country. Things are chaotic.
Yeah.
And this morning, we went downstairs, and she, of course, her car's got a flat tire. So she cranks up the farm truck and is going to take the kids to school in the farm truck. I say, no, I'm going to drive the farm truck. You drive my nice car. And she says, okay, great. Hey, you're going to need to stop at the gas station. It's only got a quarter tank left in it. I go, cool. That's easy. I go downstairs, and I get in the truck, and the light is on. It doesn't have a quarter tank. It has maybe to get me to the end of the driveway. Right? Now, she wasn't lying. She wasn't trying to be mean. She wasn't trying to set me up. In fact, she was trying to take one for the team. And she just forgot. Or maybe the truck gets such bad gas mileage that she was running it for a long time because it's cold this morning, and maybe just burned it down. Here's all this to say. I took a picture and put a smiley face and said, quarter tank, huh? Or something like that. And I made it LOL. A, I shouldn't have done that. B, she could have taken that as, oh, I'm chastising her. Because she felt embarrassed or shamed. But she didn't, because I wasn't chastising her, right? I was telling her, hey, there's not a quarter tank, there's no gas, right? And she wrote back, and we had a quick interaction about what comes next. Here's what I'm telling you. You're going to have to be able to say the words, not in a shame-inducing way, not in a pile-on kind of way, not in a way to try to embarrass her, but to be able to say, I can't wait for the day that we can have intercourse, that we can have sex.
Yeah.
Can't wait. And for her to be able to hear that and say, I'm sorry, I know I can't wait either. I'm working on it. And not immediately dump into, well, I feel bad and it's your fault that you made me feel bad. And so then you stop saying what you need and what you feel. Right? Because right now it's about vaginismus. Someday it's going to be about kids. Someday it's going to be about meals. Someday it's going to be about your work schedule. It's going to be about her work schedule. It's going to be about what her promotion, whatever the thing is going to be. And if y'all learn early on, there's just things that I can't say to her because she can't handle it. Or there's things I can't say to him because he flies off the handle. Then what you do is you end up creating alternative relationships. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
You end up,
I see.
You've heard me say this, but you end up 2 inches apart from each other on the couch, but you're 2,000 miles away from each other. You're all very different people and had very different marriages. And so the goal is, how can I say some of these things out loud? So I'll ask you, how is she? How is she with the conversation?
I think, again, it's gotten better knowing that there's a way out. Because it's like, at the beginning when we didn't know what it was definitely like, man, is this going to be forever?
Right. Oh, yeah. Terrifying.
Is this going to be like what it's going to be like? And then, started doing some digging as to, what symptoms are and everything. And then there's like a way out. And now, now that she's been going to, physical therapy, now that she's been doing all these things, it's like she's gotten a lot more comfortable with having the conversation, as you say, and really opening up to, what we want in the future and all these things.
Is there and I'm not asking this in a gratuitous way, I'm asking this in an intimacy way.
Sure.
Are you able to participate in physical therapy? Are you able to participate in some of those conversations?
When you say participate, go to physical therapy or counseling, with her, or
Yep.
Yeah. Her counselor actually said just this last time she went that I'm welcome to come along with her as well. Is that something that I should be doing?
1,000%.
Okay.
Yes, because what the counselor's going to do is give you all some language that you can use for one another, to combat both the anxiety and the phobia and the shame, and to be able to, okay, we're going to go slow, and maybe the first time you get halfway and you stop.
Yeah.
And how are you going to respond? I'm going to be disappointed, and I'm going to be supportive. Both things are true at the same time. And I'm going to make sure that fill in the blank X and Y and Z. And here's our plan. Here's our exit strategy, right? And but yeah, I think that'd be amazing. And maybe you go to counseling and you just are quiet. And maybe you go to counseling and she has to turn and say, "Hey, I didn't tell you this about my childhood." And maybe she turns and looks at you and says, "Hey, I didn't tell you this." But who knows? Who knows? But yes, I think if it's often a veiled invitation. Hey, the counselor said it'd be great if you want to come with me next time. That's her saying, "Would you please come?"
Sure.
So yeah, I would definitely go. And I would put it out there. Anytime I can come to physical therapy, anytime I can come to any of those appointments, I'll do whatever I can to get out of work and come with you.
Okay.
The same as if this was rehab for a knee. The same as if this was she suddenly became incontinent for a while. Right? All the this is for better or worse, for sickness and health. I'm going to be right here with you. This just is extra sensitive because on the back end, when everything works out, then y'all got to have sex, right? It makes the whole thing I can't say that out loud. Yes, you can. You can.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll tell you, it's your spirit's impressive. I appreciate you because it sounds like you really honor and love this woman.
Oh yeah. With all my heart, John. I mean, I've we all had a picture. We both had a picture of what we thought. We wanted things to be like in terms of sex and all that stuff, especially as Christians and virgins and stuff. And it just wasn't that. And so, to be on this journey, I guess a journey, I suppose you'd call it. It's been
that nobody wants to go on. Nobody wants this journey, right? Nobody wants this adventure.
No, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
People opt into let's climb Mount Everest. People did not opt into this one, right? But here you are.
That's right.
And so the only thing I'll challenge you on is to not use distancing language.
Okay.
You love your wife, and man, she's a trooper. She's a brave woman. All those appointments, those things suck, dude. Having all these conversations is the worst. And I promise.
And she hates the doctor. She hates the doctor, John.
Man.
She
get another doctor.
In general.
See, get another doctor.
Well, I mean, no. Just in general, any doctor, she hates taking medicine when she has a cold. That's how she is.
And it sounds like, again, I don't want to be an armchair because we're 2 or 3 people removed here, but it sounds like that any foreign object entering your wife, whether it's a pill, whether it's you, whether it's anything, an OBGYN, whether it's a tampon, whatever it happens to be, her body says no. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
Her body says no. And so,
yeah, that's the hard thing too, because at the beginning I thought it was me.
That's right.
It felt like a rejection of me, right?
Yes.
But I know now that it's
most
not that.
Men never get over what you just said. So I'm proud of you that you didn't make her pain all about you. Good for you. And dude, you can be really disappointed that you're not having sex. That sucks.
Sure,
it just does, right?
Yeah.
Both things are true. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Keep walking with her. Keep holding her hand. As much as she is comfortable with you participating in any counseling, PT, any of that, accept that invitation and do whatever you can. But I want to challenge you both to create a world where can we say the disappointments out loud? Can we say our frustrations out loud? Can we say the things that break our heart and make us sad out loud? The same as we're going to say the wins out loud. I know married couples who, when somebody gets a big bonus, they can't even tell their spouse because the spouse gets jealous.
Mm.
How can we create a world where it's okay? And I know that when you say, "Did you like that meal?" You'd be like, "It still wasn't my favorite." Have we discussed what's the best way you want to hear news that's going to be hard for you to hear?
Mm.
She might say, "Not in the moment."
Sure.
She might say, never tell me that ever, and be like, "Well, we can't do that." She may tell you, just give it to me, but just be kind about it. You don't have to be a jerk. Whatever the thing is, come up with that plan inside your home. Because unfortunately, I wish I could tell you, man, it's just all after this, it's just all going to work out. There's going to be challenges that hit y'all all the way through. That's just the nature of marriage, nature of all relationships, work, family, friends, romantic, all of them. Whew. And for everybody else who's listening to this, if there is any sort of sexual pain, sexual discomfort, if intimacy hurts, please go see somebody. Go talk to somebody. Talk to a licensed professional. You're worth that conversation. As embarrassing it might be, as hard as it might be, as uncomfortable as it might, you're worth that conversation. Go have that conversation. You're worth it. Thanks for the call, CJ. Call me anytime, brother.